Right. So, ah, okay. Um, so, as you know, again, my name is Jamie Vega Hamilton. I wanted to start off with just a little overview of who you're hearing from. Um, I do have about 17 years of experience in this field. And so that goes into recruiting. I was an admissions recruiter at Cleveland State, and then I became an academic advisor. And then I spent a few years at Tri-C. So just to give you some idea as to where I'm getting this professional background information. I do serve two high schools currently for college now. I'm also at Brookside High School. Really enjoyed working with the families I've worked with so far, and I'm really excited about meeting more of you guys. Today, what we're going to cover is just kind of like a high level overview of what you can anticipate in the next few months and going into your senior year. Um, the first thing we'll talk about is starting with you. We'll also talk about college and career research and resources for that. We'll kind of do an overview of college applications and what to expect, testing, money, money, money. So that's the financial piece of this endeavor. And then the importance of getting organized. And I have a few of the upcoming events that you are welcome to participate in. So I'm sure that as a rising senior, it's a ball of emotions, right? Some of you might feel excited, and many of us might feel nervous or overwhelmed, even a little bit anxious. You do have lots of options. These are just some of them. You know, the college route, the military, you can go straight into the workforce. As you can see here, and I believe this data is from 2019, so that might look different today, but the majority of teens graduating from high school do go on to college. Um, College isn't necessarily for everyone. And so maybe there are some of you out there that might not be planning to go to college, and that's okay. What I want as your college advisor is for you to leave high school with a plan. For the purposes of today's presentation, however, we are going to focus on college. So where does that start? It definitely, this is for you, about you. Um, and so what I suggest is to do a little bit of soul searching now. Um, some of you might know what you want to do. And then some of you might not. And that's okay. But what we can do now is to maybe just get to know yourself a little bit better. Ask yourself these questions. You know, what am I strong at? What challenges me? Um, think back to when you were young. What did you want to do, or who did you admire when you were growing up? What's your favorite class? If you were to win $1 million, what would you do with the money, just for fun, kind of thing? And hopefully that'll lead you to some better understanding of what motivates you, because what the goal is to find something that suits you, that you're passionate about, and then turn that into a career. We do recommend a couple of personality like assessments. The first one is the 16 personalities. If you go to 16personalities.com, it's kind of like the MBTI, the Myers-Briggs test. Some of you may know about that. And what this does is it gathers information that makes you understand the unique traits of your personality. That way you can find a career that lines up with that. Then we have the learning style quiz. In my opinion, this is a game changer. When I was an academic advisor at Cleveland State, you know, people just didn't understand like, why am I not doing well in class? Well, perhaps you're not playing to your learning habits and your learning strengths. So understanding yourself as a learner is very important, because we definitely want you to be successful and achieve your goals. All right. So now we've done a little bit of introspection, right? We've talked about that. Next, we want to take some time to research what college and career options are out there. You at North Ridgeville High School have a great tool already, that is Naviance. You've probably heard of it. Many of you may not have utilized it much, but you should going into your senior year. For instance, this is going to be one of the ways that you tell your advisors what schools you applied for, or your counselors, I mean. And then also how you would go about requesting transcripts to be sent to the colleges that you applied for. But there's also this piece of self-discovery. It'll be along the banner at the top, it'll say self-discovery. And when you open that up, it'll give you a list of assessments. So little quizzes that you would take to gather more of that information about yourself. There's a career interest profile. There's also like a career cluster quiz, do what you are assessment. There's lots of ways to get that information about yourself. Another one that I really enjoy using, and probably that I use the most, is Ohio Means Jobs. They have a particular section for K-12 students. And what it is a sequence of different assessments and quizzes and surveys that will start you off with like getting to know yourself. Now let's pick a career. Now, how much are you going to make in that, career field? So it really kind of makes it realistic so that you can move forward with that plan. Some other tools, My Next Move and Big Future. I actually use Big Future a lot also because they have a college search tool, but we'll talk a little bit more about that later. And then Road Trip Nation, students love this. What they do is they just take videos of people in certain fields, and they show how they've made their passions a career. And so that's really helpful, because a lot of times you just kind of wonder, like, how did that person land that job and whatnot? So that's something that I think speaks to students that are in your shoes and of your generation. Any questions yet? No? Okay.
We do have one. There was a question about, can you share the link for the learning styles quiz? I will get that from Jamie, and then we will send that along with the link for this recording. When we send it out, we'll have that available. But the Naviance, before we go any further, just so you know, parents that are on here, your students actually have already been on Naviance, and they should be familiar with it, and they should be able to log on and see some of the interest inventories that we have had them do already, just so you guys know. And then go ahead and continue, sorry.
Okay, thanks. And I think the learning style quiz link is educationplanner.com. But I'll double check that and then follow up with you guys for sure. Okay. Oh, hold on a second. My screen here is blocking this. Okay. So some other things that we would recommend also to gather that career and college research information. If you have the opportunity to do some job shadowing, perhaps you know someone in that field. The same thing with informational interview. Perhaps you have like a distant cousin that's an occupational therapist, and you've always wanted to learn exactly what she does on a day-to-day. Take advantage of that. Those are, resources that not everyone has. So any people that that are out there, or if you want to just maybe go into an office and see if they're willing to give you an internship, or if you can volunteer for them. There's so many ways to get some real life exposure to career fields. And then take advantage of virtual college visits as well. So speaking of college visits, so we've talked about doing some soul searching. We talked about researching, careers and all that. Now we need to figure out what is the best environment for you, right? Colleges they have their own personalities almost. Every college campus is like its own little world. And so now at this point, as a rising senior, you really should be trying to go on as many college visits as you can. I know summer is right around the corner and we're all ready for prom and graduation to be over with. And soon after that, I wanna encourage you guys, if you haven't started already, going on a college visit. Schools, I mean, there's private schools, there's public schools, there's urban, there's rural. There's schools that have a religious affiliation. There's HBCUs, there's Hispanic serving institutions. So, and you really need to step on a campus in order to get that feel. If we go to a college's website, they're gonna all look wonderful, right? All the brochures look so warm and welcoming and they're fun and everyone's smiling and having a good time. So really getting your feet on campus is essential to this process. I've told my students, if you don't commit to a school until you've explored it on your experience for yourself. These are just some of the things that you should be looking into for a school. Here are some questions that you can ask. Obviously, if you're lucky enough to know what your major is, does the school have my major? What's the average class size? What is student life like on campus? Do they have student clubs and organizations, the sport that you're interested in playing, that kind of thing? Am I allowed to bring a car on campus my freshman year? That's actually been a game changer for some students. They've decided, I need my car. And so I don't want to go to that school. So whatever is valuable to you, you can ask them about safety measures. I'm sure that's more of a parent question, but what does the college do to ensure safety on campus? And then we go into the admission side of it. What's your acceptance rate? That'll be good to know. And then also, what's the admission requirements? I'll talk a little bit about the acceptance rate. You may be thinking, what does that mean? Well, I'm sure some of these colleges look familiar to you, right? And I've known so many students, we were just talking about this today, that want to go to Ohio State. Or perhaps it's Case Western that you want to go to. Well, I just went and looked. Case Western's acceptance rate is 27%. That is considered a selective institution. Ohio State's acceptance rate is about 50%. However, what they do a lot of times is that they accept you to their extension campuses, right? And so you really need to get an understanding of what are my chances for getting into this school. Now, this is gonna feel a little bit, I may confuse you a little bit, but just hang in there. There are different types of admission to these schools, particularly the ones that are selective. Some of the options that you are going to have is to apply early action, early decision, or regular. Early action is when you apply early. Usually that would be around November 1st. I would hope that most of us can get our college applications in by November 1st. Regular admission deadlines, those aren't as firm. So, looking at some of the bigger larger public institutions, like let's say Cleveland State, there's not really an admissions deadline. They'll process your application as it comes in, and they'll take it up until the last day of like summer. But that's different at the selective institutions. At Ohio State, their regular admission deadline is like February 15th or something like that, because you can imagine so many applicants applying. Case Western's early action deadline is, I believe, November 1st, but they also offer early decision. Early decision is a binding contract. You have to be 100% sure that that is where you want to go, because if that institution accepts you and they give you the financial aid that you need, you are required to attend that school. So that's going to be for that school, that Harvard, that Duke, that Case Western, that's on the top of your list. You've dreamt about going there. You're going to make it happen. And if you get in, there's no questions that you're going. If they offer you acceptance, you must withdraw from the other colleges that you've applied to. You can only apply to one school early decision. And again, this is only for those very selective, like low acceptance rate schools. Okay. Does that make sense to everyone? I hope I'm getting nods on the other end of this. Okay. So one thing or one way that we can go about this admission piece
Looks like Jamie's frozen. Sorry, everyone. Well, one thing that I can add while we're waiting for Jamie to pop back, we just got an email today actually from Ohio State, and they have decided that they're going to be test optional for next year as well for the class of 24. So pretty much all colleges are now test optional for admissions. I don't know what just happened. Did we lose Jamie altogether? Oh.
You know, actually, we lost the entire thing altogether.
Oh. Did he just?
The
Wait,
only
what?
people that are still on here, it appears, are the four of us.
That's not good.
Nope.
Are you sure they're still on? Yeah, they're still on. I see them
Okay.
in the chat. I think we just lost Jamie.
Well, it's just weird because it just went to the four
I
of you
know.
guys with nothing else.
Well, Baker, you're muted. I can't hear you. Oh, good. She's coming back.
Here she's coming back.
Thanks for your patience, everybody. Jamie, you're back.
Okay, I am so sorry. I don't know what happened. Can you still see the screen?
No,
No.
you're gonna need to reshare.
Okay.
Thanks, Jamie.
I am so sorry about that.
Can one of the parents just respond in Q&A that everything is good and you can still see us? Oh, thank you, Mandy. I see you. I'm still on. Is everyone, can one more parent just respond that they're on?
I'm still seeing 20 participants, so.
Yeah, we're good. I see it too. We're good.
Okay. And you guys can hear me okay. Oh, what did I do? Okay. So I think I got stopped at the Common App. Okay. So I'll just start with we'll create a Common App account, and what this is going to do is, instead of you having to enter the same information, the same, what's your address, what's your email, all that demographic information. It'll just automatically kind of populate for each school. It's as easy as checking a box kind of thing. You can, again, there's 900 schools that participate in this. They also have this, it makes it easier to manage your applications because you can check the status. You'll get notifications when things change on those application statuses. It's a very neat and easy way to utilize this tool. They have a college search piece as well. So we talked about that a little bit earlier. You can use the Common App. It'll give you some general information about the school, you know, majors, size, acceptance rates, and all that good stuff. So there's lots of benefits to using the Common App. You don't have to use the Common App. And if you apply to one of the institutions that doesn't use the Common App, then you would just go directly to their admission website. The cost to create an account is free. However, you will, you might have to pay the application fee through the school. So just keep that in mind. It doesn't waive any fees unless the institution or the college that you're applying to specifically said so. And then always know that if there is an application fee, but perhaps you qualify for free and reduced lunches, you could qualify for getting a fee waiver from the school, but that's also something you would need to figure out from or with the school. Okay. All right. So testing, kind of a necessary evil a little bit. And things have really, really changed with the pandemic. One of the few benefits of the pandemic was that people realized that testing isn't always a strong indicator of success. However, it's still important that you prepare and that you take the ACT or the SAT. Most of you have taken the SAT already because your school provided that opportunity to you guys. Here's where I'm giving advice that you probably won't like. We recommend that you take both the ACT and the SAT. These tests are very different in styles. I found that I did better on the ACT. The way they present information is different. It might be just a better opportunity for you to gather which one is best. Here are the upcoming test dates for each of those, the ACT and the SAT. There will be additional dates posted. You would just go to their websites and see when those are coming up. This is another thing that you could get a waiver for because there are costs associated with taking the SAT and the ACT. So just keep that in mind. Now, I'm going to say that not only do I want you to take both, I want you to take take a test total at least 3 times. And so that means the SAT once, the ACT once, and whichever one you did better in, whichever one you felt stronger in, you take it again. Because the more you take it, the better prepared you are. You'll be able to pace yourself a little bit better. You'll know how the questions are framed, you know, what information to look for. It's just more practice, right? And that's why we recommend that you do that. Now, you're probably saying, but I thought we were test optional. Yes, most institutions in Ohio are still test optional, but there are lots of benefits to taking the test. You don't have to submit your test score. You can keep that to yourself. However, if you score well, it can strengthen your chances. It might make your application stronger. The other reason is because a lot of schools use the test score for math and English placement. And so instead of you taking their placement test, they'll use your test score. Now, when I say placement, that just means, if you're qualified to take English composition or English 101. So those are tests that you would have done before enrolling at that school. And so because you did well, you scored a 510 on the math component on SAT, then that qualifies you for college level math. So that's one reason. The bigger reason is because a lot of the merit-based scholarships still require a test score. And most private scholarships still require a test score. And so just to give you an example, our scholarship was a 960 SAT. And there were plenty of students that I worked with that had the GPA requirement of a 2.5, and they had a 940. And unfortunately, that's just how our scholarship committee determines, who's eligible and who qualifies for it. So if that student would have just maybe retaken it, maybe, they would have gotten a better score and then would have been eligible for our scholarship. Okay. And so as we talk about money, this is an investment. Going to college is it's a pretty expensive investment. And unfortunately, money does not fall out of the sky, but we can give you some options and figure out a way to help you finance your tuition, room and board. There are three major sources that we consider. So there's gift money. Gift money, it is the money that grows on trees, I guess, because it's free to you. That would be grants and scholarships. Most of those, the grants are going to be need-based. So we'll talk about that when we cover the FAFSA. Scholarships, those could be athletic, those could be academic. There's lots of ways to earn free money for college. Then there's the earned money. Earned money is, you have a job and you're putting it aside, you're being so responsible. Good for you. Try to set up that college fund if you can. Under the FAFSA, they'll also ask you if you want to work, be considered for federal work study. That is you getting a job, but the source of income that they're paying you is coming from a federal program. So that's what federal work study is. It's kind of confusing, but it's just you having a job on campus. And then there's the borrowed money. Now this comes in two forms. There's well, actually several, but the two major forms that the government offers is subsidized and unsubsidized loans. Subsidized loans, the way I like to think about, when you think about subsidized, you think free or discounted. Well, the interest on subsidized loans doesn't accrue until after you're done with school. 6 months after you're done, you've are no longer enrolled in school. That's when you'll start to pay back those loans as well. The unsubsidized, you are accruing money or interest while you're in school. Okay, so those are the important ways that we're going to fund your education. Now, the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid. This is actually why people love us so much. We help students and families with completing the FAFSA. It is a super intrusive and nosy application. They want to know how much you made, how much you have in the bank, what are your investments, all these questions, right? And what they're trying to determine is how much you and your family can afford to pay towards your education. They have some kind of magical formula, and then that's going to turn into your financial aid package. That's when we determine if you're eligible for the grants, for the work study, and for the loans. Okay. Or the application, it'll ask you, demographic information. It'll allow you to list 10 colleges, and those 10 colleges will receive your FAFSA results after you've completed the form. And the primary purpose is going to be the parents and students' financial. And for you guys, it'll be the 2022 tax returns that's going to reference. Now, can I do it by myself? Yes, you guys can absolutely do the application on your own, but just remember that that's one of the main reasons that College Now is around, because it can be confusing, it can be stressful and overwhelming. And so just rest assured, if you need the support, we are willing and able to help you at College Now with completing the FAFSA. The risk of providing inaccurate financial information is that it might delay disbursement of your financial aid. It might make it seem that you're ineligible for scholarships and grants. And so it can delay and be a hurdle if that isn't done correctly. And then when is you're gonna do this? That is up in the air. I'm trying to find the words. I'm sorry. Typically, it's October 1st of your senior year, right? So October 1st of this year. However, there is a new FAFSA form coming out that we are ready to learn more about, but it is in limbo at the moment. What we've heard from the federal government is that it will be ready in December. We don't know if that's December 1st, December 15th, December 31st. And so you'll have to kind of be patient and roll with us, because we don't know exactly when this new, better and improved FAFSA will roll out specifically. But every year you're in college on October 1st, that would be when you would typically apply for the FAFSA. Know that you should keep your FAFSA login information secure, because you only need it once a year, but you will need it every year you're in school. All right. So, skip that. Let's talk a little bit more about the free money. Another one of, I would say, the number 2 reason that people utilize our services is to do their scholarship searches. College Now is a nonprofit organization, and we've done an excellent job of raising money. Right now, I think we have a little over $2 million in scholarship funds that are available to students that qualify. The free money, I mean, obviously that's what we're gonna try to get you, how to fund your education. The way we like to think about how to start your scholarship search is a target, with you being in the middle, and everything that's unique about you like your major, your hobbies, your employer, your parents' employers, the college and university that you've applied for. That's where you're going to start. Your first stop should always be the college and the university for scholarships. This is something that as you're touring colleges, as we mentioned earlier, that should be one of the questions that you ask is what are your scholarship deadlines? What's your scholarship criteria? You know, does admission into your honors program offer, you know, a merit-based scholarship, things like that. So that should be your first source. The second would be local scholarships. So anything that's particular to your high school, particular to, again, like your employer, maybe, you know, the Lorain County Urban League has scholarships, those kind of things.
Jamie, I'm so
yes.
sorry to interrupt you, but there was like a really great question
Oh, sure.
that and it went back to the last slide. So I just want to throw it out there real quick.
Oh, yeah.
So one of our families is asking, should they wait on doing their FAFSA, or if they're thinking early applications, should they do the one that's currently available? Because if they're looking at that early decision or the, you know, like what are the things that they should be looking at?
Oh, great question. So the way the FAFSA works is that the application is only available for an academic year. So the FAFSA application that you're going to be applying for is for the following school year. So right now they're doing 23-24. So this would be for the school year 24-25. Does that make sense? 2024-25. So if you complete the FAFSA now, you would still have to read, you know, because you're not enrolling in college this fall, you'd be doing it again anyway. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Do not let this new FAFSA rollout stop you from completing the FAFSA. Or be a burden to applying to your schools. You will look at this as two separate things. You've got your admission piece, and then the FAFSA is separate from that. So please don't let the financial side impact your, you know, or be a burden to you. Okay. Did that answer your question? No. Okay. All right. So I'm going to continue just more so on the scholarship search. It is an ongoing process, and there is no reason not to start now. Again, as you're visiting colleges, just ask what the scholarship thing, the deadlines are. And even while you're in college, let's say this is now your second year in college, you should continue your scholarship search. It'll be up until you graduate. You're gonna commit some time to doing scholarship searches. And as far as the scholarships that are available from college now, those will begin to open up like December, January of your senior year. Okay. So just a few links to different scholarship sites. We have, these are more so the national sites. College Now, this is the one on the bottom left. Those are going to be more so your local scholarships. We also manage the Cleveland Foundation Scholarship. So you would go to our website to apply for the Cleveland Foundation scholarships. I know your guidance counselors do an excellent job of putting a scholarship list together as well that are for local scholarships. And again, that's the best approach. The other scholarship sites that I've listed are just, I mean, it's a drop in the bucket. There are a ton of scholarship sites out there. What you want to be aware of is making sure to be careful what information you input into these sites. They can get spammy, so maybe, you know, filter out, make sure they go into your junk mail and whatnot. my advice to students is to maybe on a Sunday afternoon or Sunday morning, whenever you have some downtime, just spend an hour or two looking up scholarship information. And if you have it scheduled Sunday from 10 to 12, this is when I'm going to do my scholarship search, you're more likely to stick with it and make it a habit. And it's really important that we do these extra steps. There's so much more money out there that we want to make sure that we're not missing any deadlines and we're taking advantage of every opportunity that we have. All right, so this is the organized side of things. We've covered a lot today from a high level, and I'm hoping that that just kind of gets you thinking and gets you organized a little bit. I've highlighted just some of those high level things that you should be doing this within this next year, including this summer, fall, and spring of next year. So over the summer, we're gonna register and study for the ACT or the SAT. We're gonna visit colleges. We're gonna do some research about colleges and careers. By the end of summer, I would love for you to have a list of no more than 10 colleges that you are planning to apply to. And within that list, it should include that dream school, that top choice. Maybe you don't have a top choice, but you have 5 schools that you definitely, you loved the visit and you would definitely consider going there. And then maybe some fallback schools. So just in case you don't get into that dream school, what's plan B? So that list hopefully is no more than 10. And even 10 is kind of hard to manage, but you'd be surprised. I know students who apply to 30, and it just, how do you keep up with that, right? So let's have that done by the end of summer. And over the summer, you can write your college admission essays. This is pretty important. I would see if your English teachers now would help you with this, just to kind of get a start on it. I know they'd probably be more than willing to sit down with you. This is also something that I can help you with. I've read a ton of college admission essays and a ton of college scholarship essays. So, I'd be more than happy to meet with you about that as well. All right, so in the fall, we're going to submit those applications. Again, noting that November 1st is typically a good deadline for having those college applications done. We are going to request letters of recommendations, and this should come from teachers or at least one teacher, and maybe if you can't find a second teacher, a guidance counselor or someone that can speak to your academic strengths, motivation, your ambition. So it could be like a supervisor or somebody who can speak to your strengths. And then we're gonna be searching, like I said, that's ongoing for scholarships. And in the fall, hopefully soon, we'll know if it's gonna be available December 1st or December 15th, I don't know, for the FAFSA. Spring, we're gonna continue that search for scholarships. This kind of shifts from institutional scholarships to the private scholarships. So that's those people who have set up accounts that are not necessarily associated with the college. You'll start to receive financial aid award letters. Now, this is when the college puts together a list of all of the financial aid that you qualify for. So whether that's the grants, if you qualify for their merit-based scholarships, what loans you qualify for, all those things. It should also show you the cost of attendance. The financial aid award letter season is is big because it might shift and change things for you. You might decide, you know, I really wanted to go to John Carroll, but Ursuline is offering me a full ride. I mean, that might change your plans. So that could be a good time for you to meet with a College Now advisor, so we can do some of that digging and understanding what they're offering you together. There's also the housing application, and then National Decision Day is May 1st. So by then you should have committed to the college that you plan to go to. Okay. All right. Upcoming events. So these, with the exception of the Lorain County College Fair, are all College Now sponsored programs. Explore is a program that covers ACT, SAT, prep, but they focus on a career cluster. So this upcoming one at Lorain High School is going to focus on environmental sciences. So if you're interested in that field, this might be a good opportunity for you. And that does include a week-long trip. And I believe they go to like employers that are in that field of study. And they just got back from Baltimore, the last trip they went to Baltimore, DC area. Impact is another program. I think they're going to kick off the Lorain County program in the fall. Over the summer, there's going to be a mini ACT boot camp offered through the Lorain Public Library. It's a collaboration between College Now and the Lorain, the North Ridgeville branch. The dates on that is Friday, July 14th and Friday, July 21st. Sorry, that wasn't already in the presentation, but that would be, it's a 4-hour block, 12 to 4. And they emphasize that registration is limited, and registration at the moment isn't open, but they'll open it up on May 15th. And then the virtual Connect Ed, if I have your contact information for parents, I can add you to our inbox for our mailing list for this. And so then you would receive that information about when we have virtual webinars. And we cover loans, we cover more in-depth financial aid topics, admission, all that good stuff. And then the Lorain County College Fair, I don't know when that is, but I'm a huge advocate for that college fair. They do an excellent job. They attract over 100 colleges, I believe it was. And so that's a great opportunity for you to like touch base with different colleges and just get some general information. All right, so this is just a recap of some of the sites that we've discovered, that we've discussed. I know we covered a lot of information. Perhaps if you can take a picture of this slide so that you can remember the sites. I'll also suggest the same thing for this slide. This is my phone number. You can call or text. My email address is jvegahamilton@collegenowgc.org. My office hours, I'm generally at North Ridgeville High School Thursdays from 9:30 to 2:30. And if you scan this QR code, that will lead you to my bookings page where you can book an appointment with me. I just opened up 2 additional dates on bookings. So I do have April 27th and May 4th open. So that's the next 2 Thursdays. I met with about 3 or 4 juniors today, one of which was actually a virtual appointment. So you know, we just kind of delved a little deeper and did more of an individual one-on-one with what the student wanted to do going into their senior year and what they should be doing over the summer. So hopefully some of you can take advantage of that before the school year lets out, but we will be back in action hopefully in the fall with you guys. And that is all I have. If you want me to go to another slide, just let me know. And if
Okay,
you
so I'm Jamie, you were awesome. Thank you so much. So parents, students, I'm not sure who's actually out there watching or not, but we really do thank you for coming. I want to recap because there's a couple things that I just want to add specific to North Ridgeville. When your student is applying, there is the common application, but the other way that you do apply is directly to the institution. So those are two ways that you apply through the common app. That's a one and done application to many different schools that all go once you pay the fine or the fees and you do everything and submit it. And the second way is directly to the institution. That means going to like Bowling Green's website and using their actual application to apply. That is going to be a question that they ask you when you request your transcripts. So you're going to want to put on there, that's the way that I submitted that application. The next thing was our deadlines. Jamie kept talking about November 1s for early decisions and all that. But when we come into your soon-to-be seniors classrooms next year, we're going to tell them that our soft deadline is Halloween. So I kind of want to just put that out there because every year the new early decision deadlines always creep up a little earlier. So we kind of try to make our students just have a soft deadline of Halloween as a good like first go around of when you want that to go. The second thing is every application that they do, they will send their transcripts. That is a natural progress. We are going to teach them how to request that through Naviance. We will not come back into the office until August, so nothing will be done until probably around September-ish. Mrs. Hunker, would you agree, September-ish, by the time everything is up to date?
Sorry. Yeah, and don't panic. As a parent of a current senior, I know that the colleges start sending stuff out and trying to, I feel like they really, really worry us because they keep saying, we don't have your transcript yet, but please don't panic because we need to make sure that the transcript is updated. It needs to be right. It needs to say that your student's a senior. And so even if you apply to places like on August 10th or something, we're not gonna send that transcript right away, and that's okay. They absolutely know that. That's why their early application deadlines are November 1st, and a lot of people aren't processing things until probably late September at the earliest anyways. So please don't panic, and we're here to help along the way.
Yes, please
the
take
next thing is
advantage.
financial aid. We are going to have a financial aid night in early fall where you will be able to attend as a parent, and we usually have somebody present. Jamie, I'm not sure if it's going to be you or what we're going to do next year, but it'll go through all the specifics of financial aid. So I know there was a question about, do you still apply? Yes, you do still apply, but go ahead and do your applications by the soft deadline of Halloween. We will have the meeting hopefully sometime in September for financial aid. Hopefully by that meeting, we'll have the date of when financial aid actually opens. So you are correct. You will have to do a FAFSA, just not anytime soon. You'll have to wait till October or December to do that FAFSA application. Yes, you will need social security numbers. Yes, you will need some information, but you'll learn all about this at financial aid, but they'll have like a data retrieval tool that is like the most efficient way to do your FAFSA instead of getting out your tax returns. But we will have that meeting for you early fall. That is no problem. Merit scholarships are typically done right off of admissions. There's usually not anything more that you have to do for the merit scholarship, but colleges do have those individual scholarships that you want to keep an eye on. Letter of recommendations, not every college does want them. We do ask for students that are requesting them that they give our teachers at least a 2 weeks notice on them. And there's nothing wrong with talking to your junior class teachers right now who know you really well too. Don't forget about those people you've had in 9th and 10th grade too. The senior teachers are great, but you are welcome to use any level of a teacher. Let me think, where else was my other thing? Naviance. Oh, your senior year, we will be meeting with them one-on-one in early fall. So each one of your seniors will have a one-on-one meeting with their counselor to kind of check where they're at and help them with anything what we need. And of course, now that we're so thankful to have Jamie, who can totally help us with all of that stuff. So we are, I think I answered everyone's questions on there. I think I covered it all. Amber, Melissa, do you guys see anything?
I see another question about the July event. I think, Jamie, you said that July event was the mini boot camp That was going to be at the North Ridgeville Library, but we don't have any registration
Correct.
information about
July
that yet.
14th and July 21st,
Okay,
12
so
to 4.
is that something we can like email to parents, or how do we get that registration information out to them?
They haven't even started promoting it yet. I just got
Okay.
word of it because I know that on the back end, we're collaborating with them. But when I spoke to the branch manager, she gave me a bunch of dates, like the different public, Lorraine County public libraries have different dates. So you'd want to just maybe check back on their website, because that's where the registration is going to be housed.
And
May
I also
15th.
just, oh, I'm so sorry. I just want to like tell everybody too, that I know that Jamie said like, oh, maybe take a picture of this, and which is fantastic. If you did, then you're like so on top of it. But we are also going to share this recording and this entire presentation on all of our socials and the, North Ridgeville website and everything like that. So if you know other people that weren't able to join us tonight, please let them know that we will have this information there for them as well.
And I didn't mean to ignore the Common App question. That is something that you do on your own. I'm sorry. Every application the student is required to do on their own, whether it's through the Common App or directly to the institution. That's something that they do on their own.
Starting off and kicking this planning process. You're kicking it into high gear very soon. Lots of to-dos. So just as a recap, over the summer, visit colleges as much as you can and narrow down that list, and do some ACT or SAT prep if you can. And that's it. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Jamie. Appreciate it very much.
Yes, it was great.
All right, I'll just hang on for a minute, make sure no other questions pop through.
Okay. I could probably stop sharing my screen now.
Thank you, everybody. And look, we brought it in an hour, just like we said
I
we
know.
would. So
Wow, to
respectful
the
of the
minute.
time. And it is a lovely evening. So I hope
It is.
people, I
Yeah.
hope people get out there and enjoy it a little bit.
Yes, for sure.
All right. Well, thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
Jamie,
you
we'll
so
see
much.
you. Oh, no, we'll see you next week.
Yep, on Thursday. I'll
Very
see you
cool.
on Thursday.